Hi, welcome to Jovie's Home. I post new videos every Tuesday and mostly Thursdays. Today we are going to be talking about Dutch parenting. This is going to be part 1. The next video is going to be part 2. So today we're talking about the Dutch approach to parenting the happiest children on earth. The next video is going to be the Dutch approach to disciplining the happiest children on earth. So if that sounds good to you, why don't you come on in, kick off your shoes and stay a while. I'm really glad you're here. Before we get into today's video, let's talk about the Dutch word of the day, which is kalmte, which means calm. That is definitely something that I picked up on through actually your comments. So kalmte is the way that the Dutch approach parenting. It's very relaxed, very calm. And here, let's talk about why. Before we get into the first point, I do want to say a huge thank you because recently, last month, I posted a video talking about being a mom, like a Dutch mom. And in that video, I asked, what is the approach to discipline? Because I wasn't sure. And also, that's something that I struggle with sometimes is discipline. So you guys had some incredible comments. And so basically, you guys wrote today's video and the one about discipline. So thank you so much. These are all tips from the viewers and the commenters. So I really, really appreciate it. And I've learned so much from you guys. So thank you. But basically, yeah, your tips have already been helping in my house. So thank you. And that's why I want to make this now, because maybe it will help someone else. So number 1, the first thing that I saw you guys talking about in your parents' approach to parenting you, or also maybe your own approach to parenting your own children, depending on your age, or maybe even I saw some teenagers that were telling me how their parents are helping them or educating them or parenting them. So thank you so much. There was a really big variety of responses, but something that I kept seeing over and over and over again was that your parents, or as parents, you treat the child very much like an equal and you explain things to them on their level. So even, a 5 or a 6-year-old child might be involved in decision making or in, you talk about things together as a family, and that creates a different relationship. Children feel like they're important and that they have a little bit of like control or a say in their household or whatever you guys are talking about. But the fact that there's this open and honest communication between parents and children, and together like decision making, that creates some of the happiest children in the world here in the Netherlands. So that is a big thing in the Dutch approach. When I think about other approaches to parenting, we can contrast that with, for example, cultures where you might hear like the child saying, but why, mama or papa? Why is that? And then the answer would be, because I said so, or because I'm the parent, or, because I know better, I'm the adult. And I don't think that that is the way that a Dutch person would approach it. They would sit down and really just like take the time to explain or to communicate together, to make a decision together as parent and child or as a family. So very, very interesting, very cool. I like this approach. Not much more to say about that. Moving on. Next up, be clear on the rules of the house. So this is, again, something that you guys mentioned quite a bit in the comments, is that either as children yourselves or with your own children, you had like a list of rules in the house. And it was just clear, like, this is the rules of this house and this is how it's going to go. You break them, there might be punishment or whatever, but there's rules. And I also saw mentions that sometimes the children are also involved in making the rules together. So you might, if you have older children, sit down together and come up with new rules that you've discussed. And you have their input, they have your input, and together you reach a decision where everybody is a little bit happy with that. So in having very clear rules about how things are going to be handled in your house, that doesn't leave much room for doubt or for uncertainty for a child. Children like boundaries, they like certain limits, or they like knowing within which parameters they can operate. So by having these rules very clear from the beginning and sticking to them, their expectations are met, or managed, your expectations are managed, and it just leads to a more peaceful home. And also, I would say probably it leads to less rules being broken if your children had an input in what the rules are going to be. So if they're happy with the rules because they feel like they contributed to making them or deciding them, certainly they'll be happier to follow them. Number 3, the next one I want to talk about is, once again, setting expectations and managing them. I, again, saw a lot of people talking about that. When it comes to having those expectations and your child is meeting them, the thing that I saw a lot of people saying in their parenting style or in their Dutch approach to parenting is that when they're seeing good behavior and their expectations are being met by their children, they're going to stop whatever they're doing and compliment their children. So every opportunity that you can to reward good behavior, whether that is with like a word or just saying like, you know what, you did that really well today, I was really proud of you, or whatever it's going to be, but to bring attention much more to the positive aspects of their behavior and less attention to the negative. For younger children, I also saw comments that you can have like a sticker chart, and for every day that you do this one behavior well, you get a sticker. And at the end of the week, if you got a sticker every day, I'm going to take you and you're going to get like a little reward at the toy store or whatever. These are all enforcing really the positive behaviors, and not so much just like shouting and giving attention to the negative behaviors. So you just like, I don't know, that was a mind shift for me personally. And I'm not a negative person by any means, right? Like you guys know me. If you watch me, you know me. I'm a positive, happy person. But sometimes when my kids are being naughty, when they're having bad behavior, not when they're being bad, but they're not bad. They're very good kids. But there are moments, because they're kids, that they go like crazy. And that's when I find myself like really like getting ready to focus in on all that bad behavior. And it's like, no. You're giving them attention, too much attention to that. So just shift your mind and just instead, when they are playing nicely 5 minutes before they have this, like whatever behavior, just tell them like, you guys are playing really nicely. I'm so happy to see that. And, keep going and stuff. And then that's also going to reinforce it with them. So thank you for that. It was a good reminder to me also as a parent to really try to focus on the good and not give too much attention to the bad. Number 4, I really love this tip from one of you guys. Thank you. I'm sorry I'm not mentioning your names, but it was a lot to go through. And just know that if you ever leave a comment on my channel, I'm super thankful to all of you. But this tip was so interesting, where the person said, anytime that I have to say no to something that the kid wants, I'm going to turn it around or add on what they can do as well. So they're going to say, okay, can I play football inside the house? Can I kick this soccer ball inside? Your answer would be, no, you cannot kick it inside the house, but you may go into the garden and kick it outside there. Or, whatever it is. You may not play right now with paint because it's messy, but you may read your books or whatever it is. So to always, with every no, that you have a yes that comes with it, so that your child doesn't feel like they're just hearing no, but that they're also getting an alternative or another option for something that they might want to do. So that was a really interesting tip, very good parenting tip, I think, and something that I'm definitely going to be implementing much more in my own parenting. Number 5. So the 5th tip I would like to share from what I've learned from you guys is that Dutch parents try to speak in soft tones and not shout too much. So that no matter what you're doing, you are just constantly communicating in a soft and gentle tone, even when you're upset. In general, what I saw from the comments was that if you are going to shout, it's going to be to alert them to a dangerous situation. So if they're playing in the street and a car is coming, shout. Do not use your soft tones then. But if you're getting upset or something is happening at home, don't scream and shout at them. Use a calm tone to discuss and set a good example, and to not, you have to kind of control your own urge to just be like, you're driving me crazy, child, to no, this is a learning opportunity for them, and to just say like, no, this is, we don't do this, and this is why, we explain. Also to do it at their level. So, parents are tall, children are small, so don't be looking down at them, like this. Get down, crouch down, or sit down together on a sofa where you guys are together at the eye level, a little bit more like equals, and then use your soft tone to discuss with them whatever it is that you need to discuss with them. That is a great tip, and I am a fiery, passionate woman from the Balkans/America, and yet I get loud sometimes and very fiery sometimes, but that is not in the best interest of my child. Just because that might be the way that I vent or get out energy or something, I should not be using it on my own children that way. So again, a good reminder to always just be using soft tones, and if I need to scream and shout and let it all out, I can go to the bar and dance one night and just let it out. Number 6, and the last tip that we're going to be talking about in this video today, is about independence and freedom. So Dutch children, from a very young age, they are allowed to be alone, like playing outside in the street without parental supervision. They cycle to school on their own from a young age. They're given a lot of freedom. This is huge. But not only are they given freedom to do things, they're also really given freedom to make mistakes and to learn from those mistakes. When I think back to my own life, like when I was being raised, and I have an incredible mom and an incredible dad, an incredible bonus dad, second dad. I have great parents, so I'm not really complaining about them or anything like that. But in my own life, I just feel like I was always expected to be perfect, to do things perfect, always. And I don't know if that's because I'm a girl and that's kind of like the sexist way of being raised. I don't know why. I don't know why that is, but that is how I felt. Maybe that's not what my parents intended or did, but that was the consequence for me, was that I always felt like I just had to do things right and always be good and always, because they told me, and never like to figure it out for myself. So I didn't actually start really figuring things out for myself and doing things that I wanted to do or deciding things until I was much older. This video is not about me. It's about parenting. But all I want to say is that Dutch parents allow their children the room to really just like make mistakes and to learn from them. Even in my son's school, the motto of his class is mistakes are welcome, and we learn from them. We don't want to keep making the same mistake over and over and over again. It's not like, just like keep messing up, but learn from the mistakes that you do make. And if your child is maybe doing something a little bit dangerous, and by dangerous, I don't mean crazy dangerous. I mean, like if they're going to try to go on the monkey bars and you think, oh, they're too small, maybe they're going to fall onto a safe, child-friendly playing surface, yeah? But you as a parent are like, oh, I don't want my baby ever to fall and, scrape their knee or hurt themselves or something. But a Dutch parent would still let them. They wouldn't be there being like, oh, be careful, oh, danger, danger, danger. And so many times I even find my own self having to bite my tongue and just be like, shut up, stop. I don't want my children to be afraid to try things because I'm sitting there being like, you might scrape your knee. Like, yeah, that's a normal part of childhood, right? So all this to say, Dutch parents, because they allow their children the freedom to experience things for themselves, make their mistakes, learn from their mistakes, this approach to parenting certainly leads to having children who are constantly ranked the highest on the happiness index, or, happiest children in the world. So those are my 6 tips that I learned from you guys in the comments. I mean, there was certainly, I could make more videos about this if you like, but If you have more to contribute, please leave them in the comments below. I love to learn from other parents, real tips, real advice, what's working for you, what doesn't work for you. Also, what mistakes have you made in your parenting, and how did you learn and grow from that? Because yeah, we can all learn from each other. So you guys, that's today's video. Come back next time for how Dutch parents discipline their children, because that's an interesting discussion too. Thank you so much for coming over today. Thanks for spending some time with me. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Click subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. But yeah, what you guys were telling me is that if you are misbehaving, oh, that's so dumb, Dan. This is the second video. This is the punishment video. This is that tip. Delete. No, tip number 1 is coming. It's not at all about timeouts.